Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rolls to Astonish, where we're getting back to Stranger Wonderland, where I'm not the eternal GM for once. I am Steven, your host, your ever-present host, and I am playing Sarah Sparrow. Joining me today is the creator of Jags Wonderland and our wonderful GM Marco.
Hi there.
Haley
Hi.
playing.
Playing Jules, the rough and tough beat 'em up girl that basically is now back to slowly turning into a devil.
and
Bleh.
and last but not least, Eric, because Zach is out celebrating his 21st birthday.
Yeah, the
Playing,
baby finally turned 21.
Eric's playing Vasily.
Yes. All right, who wants to give a recap of what happened last time? Because I remember what
I
happened
mean,
to
because
Sarah.
I slept through it.
I remember what
Yeah.
happened. I remember what happened to Sarah, but boy, oh boy, I do not know what happened with the rest of you guys because I
Well,
kind of.
I'll recap what's happened with us. So we had returned. We had undergone a sudden descent and discovered on the first level of Wonderland that our school had been infested by blue meanies. The army of No capturing the shadows of students and locking them up and executing them. We were looking into that when we dropped to another level into the abandoned, empty levels of Wonderland, where we learned that our shadows, who are unlike most shadows, competent and together special forces operatives types of guys, had been fighting with bad guys. We don't know who the bad guys are. We don't know what they want. We know that they are bad guys against us, and they left us a message we were able to piece back and play together, which indicated that a guy that we kind of know in real life and uh, Jules really knows, a small time drug dealer, local drug dealer person named, what's his name, Lonnie?
Lonnie,
Uh,
yeah.
well, Lonnie's the pot dealer. Collins
Collins,
Collins is the
Collins,
guy
yeah.
who's like a
It's been a while.
chemist.
Well,
No, yeah, they both are. Although Collins is more of a chemist than a dealer. Although he does.
Collins is more
of a drug maker than a drug.
Collins is more of the, oh, fucking hell, why am I blanking on his name? Fucking hell! It did. Walter White. He's more Walter White.
Or the Walter White.
Damn it.
So now what we didn't, the most of us didn't know, but Jules did. Jules had run into her reflection, literally her reflection, in a mirror, which had told her to go and take out Collins, because he's apparently at the center of a lot of bad stuff. But before she got around to that, I guess we had met up. So we decided now was the time. We went to Collins' house and told him we were there to buy product. He wasn't buying it, and 2 steps inside the door, he pulled a gun. He did shoot one of us. Not a terrible wound. We're tough because of our Wonderland experience is tougher, but getting shot was not a joke. We slammed him into the ground, took the gun away, and then we dropped from a nice normal apartment into what is now clearly a completely effed up Wonderland apartment full of computers. I will also say that we knew that he was associated with some shady pharmaceutical company that runs tests at the college called, what's it called, System One, something like that.
Yeah, it's System One.
He does seem to be entangled with something, but now we are in this completely whacked out version of his apartment, previously clean and squared away. What used to be the kitchen is like a mainframe control room, and everything else just looks completely messed up. So
I'm gonna ask a question real quick because I wasn't here for this part. I think.
Yeah.
So one, you guys did determine there's an army of no invasion happening.
We don't know that's what they're called, but yes, when we were in the when we went to the school, one of our RA who we're kinds of friends with asked us to help with bullies in the computer lab, which in retrospect was a strange request, right?
Right.
Not that's not something you typically get in a college dormitory, but we were up for it. Once we followed him sort of out into the light of day and down the street and onto the campus, it was clear to us that we were not on chessboard zero. People were acting strange. They were playing weird things over the PA system. And the bullies were these grotesque blue furred things, people,
Right. Right.
that we, right.
Right. So, and the other thing
Yeah.
is
And
yeah. So the other thing is, the last I remember before last session, the session before last was you guys got like a transmission from Sarah's shadow or something, and I had to step away from the I had to step away to get some
Right.
stuff before when you guys were resolving that last session. So what happened there?
So what Sarah was broadcasting, she thought she was broadcasting to their shadows, who apparently had been keeping tabs on the enemy in their quote unquote forward operating base.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Russell and Vasily's shadows were down in this sort of bunker like building, and they had been watching something, presumably the Army of No, although you're not sure. And Sarah said, okay, I've got this figured out. You guys need to get down here. And as long as the towers are still standing, you should be able to go get the prime. And by that, it seems like she means you, the actual person.
Oh,
And
interesting.
and you need to get down here, because I've got it figured out. You don't know exactly what that means. Presumably, your shadows would have some idea of what it means, but they have to find you, and these weird tower things that are floating around apparently are some capable way of linking you to her, you to your shadow.
Interesting. Should I talk about what happened with Sarah last time,
Yeah,
or should we
you
just?
should probably recap it quickly. Yes.
All right. So quick recap. Sarah got, since Sarah doesn't have a shadow, is disconnected from her shadow for some reason. All the mages are like, "Ooh, this is interesting. Let's investigate. Let's do some weird shit with her." They took my mage bully, I'm gonna start calling her.
Uh-huh.
I can't. No, it's not Jasmine. It's
Jalen.
Jalen is just like, I'm taking you to the dean, and she takes me to the dean, and he's like, you're weird. So we're having a whole like mage meet and greet, powwow, whatever bullshit. You're gonna come to that if you want to actually make any headway in this thing. So I go to that, and all the mages are creepy and kind of skeevy and rapey.
Yep.
And they're all like, ooh, delicious, delicious young person. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, all right, we're gonna do a ritual to figure out what's going on with your shadow. Stick me up on a table, start doing some weird chanting, and I descend way down into the Wonderland, ending up in a place called the library. Though it was only an annex of the library. I meet what I know to be a caretaker, a being calling herself the librarian down there. She takes me to meet another being known as the Pale Widow. Pale Widow wants to give me one of her subordinates as a replacement shadow. I'm like, hell to the fuck no. That's a terrible deal. I'm probably going to get completely fucked over if I take this. So I politely dance my way around the issue and very politely decline. Pisses off the Pale Widow. But luckily the librarian likes me. And it is an objective third party to say, no, fuck off, get off my turf, Pale Widow. So she offers me a favor to get me any one book at a future date, which is fantastic. I go back up. There's blood everywhere. There's viscera on the walls and on the ceiling and on the floor. And it turns out a bunch of these mages have just exploded.
Yes, apparently they tried to consume parts of you, whether that's literal, physical, or a combination, while you were in descent.
And that went poorly for them. Very poorly.
Yes, well, apparently being in the care of a caretaker and then trying to work magic against you didn't
go so well.
Didn't go so well, right? So they rushed you out of the building and
so they're like, oh hell. So the dean was like, oh hell no, get the fuck out of here and don't talk about this with anyone. And my peers were like, what the fuck just happened? Jesus Christ. And that's basically where we left off with me.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna pick up with. Okay. So Vasily, Russell, and Jules are on chessboard too. Well, one of the lower realms, probably chessboard too. Now you can see the map of the apartment building on chessboard 1 or 0. It's on the Roll20 map. So if you guys go to Roll20, you might have to refresh, but you should be able to see the what it looks like.
I see it.
Okay. And Haley, you too?
Oh, I'm on. My computer's trying to act wonky right now. Don't act wonky, please, honey.
Well, if you join Roll20, you should be able to see it. And anyway, so now 2 things. So I'm going to run Russell, but something happens immediately. You guys hear this weird sound. It is the sound of an. By the way, I can't see. If you guys message me or something, I won't know because I'm sharing my screen and I can't. Well, maybe I can actually. Maybe I might be able to. Maybe if I tab out of it, maybe I can do that. We'll see. Okay, so Haley, let me know if you can join the Roll20.
I'm trying. My Google browser's acting funny right now.
Okay.
Like it's freezing up. I don't know why.
Yeah, it'll take me out of there.
So there's a sound.
Yes, it's a sound. It's a
Big
sound
slug?
like it's what's that?
The giant baby slug.
Well, no. It's from like right here. You can see where the crosshairs are in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, they're just the floor.
Yes, it is a sound like it's an explosion sound. It actually sounds like an implosion. At one time in a chemistry lab, they did something where they caused a bunch of water, or sorry, a bunch of gas to cool rapidly and contract, causing the 2-liter bottle to kind of collapse with a little woof. This is much louder and sharper. And what it is the sound of a gunshot in reverse. Collins appears on the floor, his head splattered. He's been hogtied.
Oh, so he appears in front of us
On the floor, hogtied, dead.
Does this look like a real thing, or does this look like his shadow?
Kind of both.
I can't tell. I mean, anything down here should be a shadow, but I'm not real clear on the concept.
Yeah, you're not really sure what you're looking at, but you have a very strong feeling that Collins is dead.
Okay. And just I have a gun. Does it look like I shot him? I don't have a lot of experience shooting.
Yeah, people. I don't think you necessarily know.
Okay. Okay.
Can I crack at it?
Hey,
where the hell did you come from?
Happy birthday to you.
I've been here for 5 minutes.
Okay.
I got
when the hell did you pop up?
Just now.
About 3 minutes ago.
Okay, so I'm pretty disturbed by seeing him dead. and the idea that he might really be dead is also disturbing. And of course, being down here is profoundly disturbing.
By the way, I am panning around slightly, so you guys can tell me. You can, tell me what you want to look at on the shared screen.
So I think we should try and find out what is into. So I'm going to leave the body laying there. I don't know much about it. He's unquestionably dead, right?
His head is, yes, he appears to have been shot execution style.
Can I investigate?
You can make a roll, yeah.
So you go investigate. I'm going to go look at the computers. I have computer skills and hacking.
Okay. Go ahead and you can make a computer skill roll.
Just give me a sec, boys.
And
I have
you can
to
also,
Google Chrome
Zach,
quick.
you can make a police procedure roll.
You got it, boss. Oh. That's 8, 12. I'm 2 under my police.
Okay, so you make your roll by 2. Your guess would be that yes, he was shot at close range by a 9mm handgun, which would be the weapon that Vasily has. And the
I didn't shoot him. I did not shoot him. Look, you can look at my gun. It's not fired.
I know I have a gun from the one guy.
Yeah, you took it from Collins. You took Collins' gun from him.
After he shot you.
Yeah.
But anyway, these. So you go over to the.
I roll an 11, making my computer skill roll level 1 by 1.
Okay, you determine 2 things. By the way, one final thing with a police procedure roll made by 2, you would describe this as a professional execution.
Oh.
He was shot in, basically in the temple.
Obviously not me, although I privately worry that my, badass special forces shadow, might be the guy, which, yeah, clearly not me.
Okay, so whatever's going on here is obviously serious shit. What he's doing is he's in communication with something called System 1, and he's been taking a lot of information and passing it back and forth. He does some analysis on it here, and he sends it over there for, he sends reports to them, and then they send reports back, and he's printed some of those reports out. You can find the print job, but the paper's not exactly right here. You think it might be over here, because he does have a lot.
Can I look at the files?
Yeah.
And are these chemical tests? Is he testing chemicals on someone?
Yes, that's part of it. Part of it is trials with something called gremlin, which appears to spread CPD, cyclic psychoactive disorder, which you vaguely know correlates to Wonderland infection. However, it's not especially. You think you can't really make head or tail of the data, but it seems like it's not especially effective. He's trying.
Okay, so he's been, yeah.
But the other thing, but most of what he's been doing is an assessment of a group of people who are called Liminal 1, and he's been talking about their contacts and their spread and their, who they have contact with and things like that, and demographics and things. Right now, the short assessment of it is a bit beyond you.
Okay.
You have to look at this stuff for more time to understand, but it seems to be like who they know, how many people they run into.
I am going to search. His email is open. Is this what I'm finding?
Yeah. You can.
I am going to quickly search for any of our names.
Yes, your names are in here. Jules is in there. So he has a file on Jules. Apparently he's been stalking her.
Wait, the fuck?
Well then.
I'm like, Jules, come here. You may want to look at this.
And
What the hell did you find?
He scanned some Polaroid photos, including one of Jules. This was taken not terribly long ago.
The fuck?
What do those notes say?
Yeah, hold on, that's just hold on.
I had to let you in there.
Is this guy following me?
Apparently so. He took a picture of you. You're under the enemy designation, and in fact, there's some post-it which I can show you better pictures of if you guys want me to.
Oh, can you just read them to us?
Yeah. Maybe. So, I'm gonna hold on a second. I
can't read them from here.
No, you can, and in fact, I'm not gonna guess at it. So just give me a second. So there's pictures. Jules, you recognize him immediately. This is the dealers club. There's a picture of Karen and Kevin that was obviously taken at a restaurant. There's a picture of Bunny. She's over there. You can see that, and I'll show you. And there's a picture of Lonnie sitting at a bar by himself. The
Subliminal One is Jules' friend group.
Yes.
I'm not seeing these pictures. Right. If you're showing them
Russell,
or something.
L-U-N-K, which Russell, means last name unknown.
I'm not seeing these pictures if you're showing them.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
These are just pictures from I'm reading the sticky notes. But I can put them up, and he has American ? Team Command ? Cultural Liaison ? Backup for Vasily ? Sticky 2, positive outlook correlates to her socialization index. How to reduce outlook but keep interaction strong. Management ? That's actually for that's for Bunny. But for Vasily, it's Vasily ? Related to Russian ops ? Limited contact. When does Julia contact command? Julia, of course, being Jules.
Motherfucker.
Anyone have any idea what any of this means?
These.
Looks like we're all being involved.
Because I think questioning Collins isn't going to work.
Yeah, no, but these guys, this Subliminal One stuff, these are my friend groups. That's Bunny, Lonnie. Like, oh my fuck, this is creepy.
So up here, if you can see, I'm pointing at it. That's Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
That's Lonnie, and Kevin and Karen. There's also a picture here from Biosciences. Something about Dr. Knoll. And the picture of Dr. Knoll is a man in a blood-splattered, and I can show you a blow up of this, but he's covered in blood. He's wearing a gas mask, and his head is cut open, revealing a exposed brain.
Dr. Knoll, that's a creepy picture.
So Dr. Knoll is either a murder victim or a really bad guy, and he works for System 1, which catching up on my return.
You send it.
I don't send it. I'll send it, before we leave, because somebody's going to come over here to check on him. Do I know what the pictures are? Those
These
network diagrams?
Yeah. You make a reason roll.
For those things?
I make it by
Okay, they have each one of the names of one of the friend groups.
social network.
Yes. Yeah, you think this is like people you know. Jules, you're able to figure it out better. Yeah, like basically like Kevin and Karen, Kelvin and Karen know different kinds of people, right? They're both boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're both running this online supplements thing. But like he's a personal trainer, so he knows, and you can see kind of how the different groups kind of split off and don't necessarily interact much with each other. And how Lonnie drives around all over the place delivering weed and so on and so forth. So yeah, this seem to be information about who they know.
So
And yeah,
So weird. I'm trying to figure
I'm
out,
with you.
what the fuck is the point of this? Like, I understand me at this point. I completely understand me seeing all this, but why them? What's so specific about them that he's trying to puzzle this out, especially Bunny?
Well, he's
Could I
he's
roll
running tests.
psychology to see if I can understand like the mindset of the person doing this?
okay, you can go for it. You'll need to make it by a lot.
I'm going to look in those rooms to the back and just see if there's anything in there.
Come on.
No.
Hey, not bad. I make it by.
They're prison cells.
I make it by. Looks like 3.
Okay. So you look at looking at the graphs. It's like how many people do these people meet, and looking at the raw data. It does seem to be really a question of how these people, how many people these people know, how well they know them, and what kinds of people they know. So Bunny meets a lot of people with gambling addictions. And they have what's called a fragility index. And the people with gambling addictions have a high fragility index. Lonnie meets with a bunch of he at one point said in defense of his popularity, sociability, that he knew like every teenage sports hero in southern Michigan. And in fact, he seems to know a lot of charismatic people, have interactions with a lot of charismatic people.
Wait.
And
Did I just see a crossbow? Hang on.
huh?
Hold on, let him finish.
Karen and Calvin, both seem to look at people, people with a mix of charisma and fragility, who are trying to self-improve or looking for answers to things that they are not happy with. You hear a voice from somewhere over in the darkness say, "Hey, is that Colin on the floor? Colin, man."
Who's over there?
It's the worm.
Is it the baby worm? Yeah, I'm going to go over there and say, hey, so let's see what's over here. So there's like this, what is that, a bed?
Oh, Lord. What's going on?
Yeah, hi. It might be Collins. It might be just, what's on the TV?
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, who are you?
Oh, what the fuck is going on?
Am I the only one seeing this, guys?
No, you're not the only one.
No, you're not.
Oh, hi. Yeah, who are you?
He said, Ned, actually. Ned, who are you? Are you friends of Collins?
Oh, I am. My.
Let's lie, shall we?
They say my name's Bob. Well, Robert. Good friend of Collins. Don't remember you though. Are you his roommate?
No, well, kind of. I'm delivering. I deliver all this stuff to him, and in fact, you see, there's a bunch of
FedEx packages.
Yeah.
FedEx boxes.
He gets a lot of deliveries. So yeah, sometimes I just kind of crash here, and you
I
know,
just know it's a giant pill bottle.
And
The
watch
giant
the.
bottle.
there
Oh,
is a giant pill
what,
bottle, and there's something glowing inside it.
what
Oh.
prescription is that? Is that a plant?
He says,
I'm
I
going
would
to,
think
yeah,
that's one of his guardians. You know, outside past those doors, there's like all kinds of sphinxes and smilers and all kinds of things out there.
oh yeah,
Jeez.
Yeah.
it's a real horror show, huh?
And he says, I try to avoid it, man. I think they're all here, you know, keeping watch on Collins, but I don't ask too many questions.
No, I wouldn't. I totally wouldn't. Is the light made out of meat?
It's an eye, actually. A cat's eye, purple.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go over
he
to the
got.
to the big pill bottle.
Yeah, because I think I recognize what's in there.
what
Yeah.
is
What is
I-
that?
That's what I think it is.
is
That's
that?
that's the mermaid.
Yes,
Yes.
it looks like the mermaid, and it slithers against the outside. These are the same lamps you saw on the inside, on level 1.
Huh.
And he says,
Right.
yeah, those. Well, I mean, they're supposed to be kept under control, but if that's him on the floor over there, he obviously didn't get to activate them.
Oh, are they like
Wait.
Activate?
Yeah, I think that they're like bad news, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they throw reflections up pretty good, and you know they hiss at me and stuff. I don't like them, but he usually keeps them locked up.
Well,
But
you know, there shouldn't be any trouble inside there, right?
he says,
Oh.
yeah, I think they're okay in there. Hey, do you think you could change the channel? I'm still regenerating my you know
Arms.
my
Sure.
TK. There's a control around here somewhere. He always,
Sure.
he's always
buddy.
leaving it somewhere.
All
Sure,
right.
buddy.
Let's find the remote then.
Let's get looking.
Oh yeah, what's over there on the side, behind the go over. There's a big tank of some stuff.
I swear to God, if we find another spider bot. Just leaps down from the ceiling.
So what's the over? There's like a machine over to the left.
This
Yeah, what is that? What does it say?
Highly corrosive. Oh, nope. Not touching it.
It looks like you could looks like it's used for transfusions. That's my guess anyway.
Of acid?
warning: liquid despair, highly corrosive.
Ah. Despair. Wait, what? Despair?
Yes.
Liquid despair. Okay, yeah, no control here. And that's like a pump. Put it in you. Wonderful.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like it's
Okay.
got a cup. Yeah, he took a bunch of transfusions and stuff. He was always getting hooked up and monitored and all kinds of stuff.
Testing his own product.
I'm gonna look over. I mean, I would expect the thing to be near the TV. So there it is.
Oh,
In the room.
there it is.
Yep.
There it is. Saw it.
Oh, hey!
Take
Yeah.
it.
Hi!
Take the controller.
And return it.
Yeah.
Change the channel, right?
Yeah. I'll try changing the
Yeah,
channel.
maybe you could find some sports or something.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a good idea.
Yeah, click.
Let's see what's on.
You know, you see a whole bunch of static, but then there's some kind of Japanese game show, and he says, "Oh, that's good. Yeah, stay there."
Hey,
Alright.
all right, buddy. Ned, you said?
What's that? It's some kind of Japanese game show where
So what's the slug's name?
Ned.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm going to take a look at one of those boxes, see if there's anything, good in it.
We should leave the
It looks
remote
like
on.
looks like it's been mostly unpacked. So
Okay.
yeah, just leave it there. When my when my telekinesis
Yeah.
is back active, I'll be able to use it.
I'm going
I'm
to
probably gonna have to go anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to poke my head in the bedroom and see if there's anything
He says, "Yeah,
that's
I've
not
been giving him a bunch of."
Is that aspirin?
the giant bottle full of pills. Gun out,
What the hell?
pointing around because there might be a loose
You
mermaid.
pull your gun out. Jules is ready as her gun arm. Just
Yeah.
fuck.
What are these boxes of medicine?
He says,
Okay.
"Yeah."
I'm gonna just take a look at it. Do I recognize anything? Grab a tablet. It's like the size of a
Grab
dinner
one of the
plate.
giant tablets
Yeah.
the size of a plate.
Make a. You guys can make hearing perception rolls.
Perception rolls.
Hearing?
Yeah.
Something's in here.
He says,
Roll a
"Yeah,
nine. I roll a
I-
9, which makes it by
All right.
Fuck. I fucked that.
So
it looks like those are what are those?
12. This is perception, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's see here.
What'd you make it by, Vasily?"
9.
You hear something slither inside the closet.
Okay, I point to the closet.
I make it by
Yeah.
1.
Mhm.
Gonna go and slide around there, and I'm gonna open the closet real fast. I'm gonna sneak up to the closet and then open it real fast with the gun pointing in.
Oh
Mermaid.
boy.
Mermaid.
All right.
Everyone roll initiative, and there's a bottle in here.
Okay, so what's the deal with the mermaids? I think I missed something.
They are guardians.
Okay.
Follow by mouth for the rest of your life. 1 tablet. Morning, midday, evening.
4.
This doesn't sound great.
Forevermore. Evermore. Oh, God.
Okay. Okay. I roll a 10. I blow it by 1.
Rolling initiative then.
Hang on a second. If you guys want to read the.
No live organisms can
Need
continue
to exist
or long
sanely.
exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even
Katydids.
sparks and
Oh.
katydids are supposed by some to dream.
Game over. That's from The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson at the beginning of the story.
Oh, it is.
Game
Oh,
over.
look. Oh, I think I know who's pulling this shit.
There are wounds that never something the body that depend more. I can't read it. More than anything.
Can we move over?
There are wounds. There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. And the pill is the black pill.
Oh, hello, hypotherapist.
That's terrifying. Hey, mermaid.
Yes. So.
I make mine by 2 for initiative.
Okay. And I am going to stop sharing for a second, and we will run the combat. Okay. So I was. Okay. So Vasily, what'd you make it by?
Blew it by 1.
Russell.
I made mine by 2.
You want to put them on the bow mat so we can sort of see where everything is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and right. So let's do that. Yeah.
Jules is in the corner. And I made it by 3.
Okay.
So we're Russell and Vasily are right up by the door.
Jules is over by
You've
the
got a
door
gun.
into the bedroom.
I've got
fuck
a
that
gun.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
we all have guns then.
I have a gun in my arm. That counts. But I don't really have bullets.
I have a fire gun. I mean, I can use that.
The mermaid makes it by +7.
What the fuck?
She's fast.
She rolled a 5, so
Yeah, she's very fast.
Okay, so she looks at you and her mermaid like tail kind of kind of twitters. By the way, you can see the mermaid or if you remember the mermaid
yep.
things over there. And her mermaid tail kind of rattles. It flexes and it makes this noise like a rattlesnake's rattle. And then she jumps at you, glowing golden. Vasily, she's jumping at you since you looked in there first.
Yep.
What's your negative to be hit?
My negative to be hit is an hand-to-hand combat, -1.
Okay, she rolls a 9, goes to a 10, hits by 3.
I'm going to see if I can block. I can. I'm going to try to block. I don't block by enough.
Okay. Do you have any armor?
Nope.
Vasily?
No.
No. Okay. All right. She rolls a 11, and to hit you, she hit by 3, so it goes to a 14. 7 points of damage, penetrating.
Okay. What did she hit me with?
A claw. She steps and claws.
Okay. I shriek and bleed.
Okay. That's all she could do, though. She's kind of moving in stop motion, looking around and hissing. Glowing gold. She still has this kind of bizarre look. Jules, you get to go.
Okay, I am running over to the bed. I'm aiming my gun at her. Just like, eat lead, bitch. Pow.
Okay.
This is
5 RA to step, 5 RA to shoot.
Which I can do that with my gun arm. So that is 3. With a gun, it's against coordination if I don't have the gun skill, right?
Yep.
Okay. Damn, I flopped that.
Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me!
Boom. Because it's a straight on shot, I'm going to rule that it blows the closet door out. Okay. Then it is Russell.
All right, I'm gonna use Halo. Take a shot. Take aim and shoot.
Okay.
All right.
She's at
Hey.
-1 to be hit.
Hey.
That goes to a 13.
Yep, that meets.
Okay, you hit by 0. Go ahead and roll and add 0.
That's 0. All right. Okay. Oh wait, those are zeros. Fuck. All right, 10.
That's -2. What's your base damage?
Base damage is, because I'm medium, that's going to be 18 impact. -2.
16.
So 16.
Yeah. Okay. Her whole body absorbs the shot, and you can see that the glowing golden light kind of flexes around it.
Not good.
You don't know it, but you don't know what it means, but she has a force field. So that's one shot. You have 5 REA. You can do. I think I don't know if the Halo fires multiple times around, but I think it does.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, then you might take another shot, or you could save the.
I mean, if it's like dancing around her at the moment, I don't know if it's gonna do much.
Well, force fields degrade. How they work is would take some explaining, but no, she didn't suffer any damage from that, but it did degrade the force field slightly.
All right, let's do it again. Hey, make it by It's -1 still, so that's making it by 2.
Okay, you hit by 4. Go ahead and roll and add 4.
All right. 8, 10, 14.
1 times damage, so 18 damage.
18.
That is still not enough to penetrate, to punch into the field, but it definitely does degrade it a little bit more. Sparks fly off of her, these little arcs of stuff. Vasily, you get to go.
Come on, break.
Okay. I'm going to. I'm shrieking and I'm mad. I'm going to hit her with my beak. I roll an 11, which hits by 1. It hits by 0.
Okay.
I roll a 17, which will do. Right. I'm assuming none of this, of course, penetrates because she's got a force field.
Mm-hmm.
But that
Don't
17 impact is +2, so I do 16 points of damage.
Okay. That is sadly not enough to penetrate the field, but it does degrade it.
What the hell's with this thing?
Say it's tough. Hit it. Hit it again.
Okay. Do you have another action?
No.
No. Okay. And everyone roll initiative.
Blow it by 4.
-4.
All right. I make mine by, looks like 2.
Okay. Jules.
One moment.
By the way, you think that the force field has been degraded maybe 30%. So the damage that you guys are doing is enough, is almost enough to start really taking it down and doing damage through it. You're ballparking it. Like if you'd done one more point of damage, Eric, you would have penetrated the field.
Okay. Okay,
Jeez,
I
this
met
thing
my
is
initiative, so 0.
This thing's fast.
Mermaid goes first.
I
The
figured.
That's me.
This motherfucker's fast.
Yeah. It is going to attack Russell. You hit it twice. She hisses and slashes.
This is what I get for
You're not impressed by me?
It's more than one attack. So she backhands you, rolling a 13. What's your negative to be hit?
I don't think I have a negative to be hit.
What's your agility?
Oh, my agility. My agility is 11.
-1
-1.
to be hit. She barely misses you. She's gonna slash you again.
Oh Lord. Yes.
This is a 10, goes to an 11. Once again, she misses a vital hit. It hits by 2. A hit by 4 with this thing is potentially fatal. It goes to a 10 minus 2. You take 5 points of penetrating damage.
Ow.
Bitch, you won't fuck with someone, fuck with me.
I'm getting real sick of you.
Russell, you get to go.
All right, aiming and shooting.
By the way, I don't think that's a minor wound, but is it a minor wound? What's your, do you know your minor wound score?
Well, 21. 21 is my DP at the moment, so.
Okay, so your minor wound is 7. You're okay. All right.
I'm fine.
Yep.
All right. Taking
a normal
aim.
person would have had to roll. Okay.
All right. That's a 6. I make it by 7.
Okay, you kind of take a step back and half a step back and line up and she's looming and you fire directly into her. So go ahead and roll, and she's at -1 to be hit. Go ahead and Roll and add 6.
That's 6. Okay. Oh, come on! Really?
You.
Of all the times.
Zach,
Of
roll 20
all-
just doesn't like you this week.
Of all the times I to roll 6s. Of all of them. Ugh, this week has been shit. All right. So that's adding 6. That's 8.
So I believe 8 is minus 3, although I am going to look that up.
That's-
Yeah, 8's minus 3. So
All right.
your damage is 18 damage.
Yeah, that's gonna be 15.
Yeah, well, that's
We've
enough.
got one more shot at me. So hey.
No, because you aimed for +2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that took your other shot.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, but your 15 points of damage is enough to barely to do damage through the field, which is a big deal.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So
you're
okay.
kind of breaking up for me, Marco.
Okay,
Just
I'm
a
sorry. How? Okay. Well, I'll try to enunciate better. Okay. So now it is Jewel's turn.
Oh, this bitch wants to slash at Russell. I'm coming in head first. Ram horns, beep beep.
Okay.
I'm
You
smashing
charge.
her back into the closet.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
It just got out of the closet, Haley.
I'm bumping it back into the closet. I'm not sure what to roll for ram's horns. I can't remember what we did last time.
Okay. It's your agi. Roll your agility, or if you have street fighting, you can roll that.
I do. I do
Okay.
have street fighting.
Okay, then roll street fighting.
5, 9, 10, 11, 12. I made it by 1.
Okay, it goes to a hit by 0, which is fine. That's still a hit. Roll and add 0.
13.
Okay, that's 1 times damage. What is your base damage for your horns?
12 impact.
Okay, do you have any strength? What's your strength?
Strength is 13.
Your strength 13. That's plus 3. So 12 to 15 points of damage.
I just imagine she slashes at Russell and Jules is just like, oh no, bitch. You wanna fuck with me. Mad bitch punk. Straight back into the closet.
Okay, 7 points of damage through the force field. She hisses and goes writhing backwards into the thing with the big black pill.
Oh, yourself.
Close the door.
Vasily, you get to go.
Do I have to step to hit?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say, take that, Starbucks.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Nice.
I slash at her and miss with my first strike because of the -1 to hit her. But undaunted, I will slash again. I miss again.
Okay.
Hey, how'd you miss the first time? Because you got 2 6s.
I'm doing it with -4.
Oh.
So, yeah.
She hisses and coils.
Mm.
I hate this snake. Oh, initiative. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I make it by 2.
I make mine by 2 again.
I made it by 2.
Come on, roll high. Roll high.
What is your anybody? Okay, what's your guys' initiatives?
Well, she rolled a 14, or a 8, 9, 10, 11. So she made it by 1.
No,
She's got 13 or less, so she made by the mermaid made it by 2.
We all made it by 2.
Oh lord.
Yeah. So now we're going in order of initiative.
Mine is just 13.
Okay, Russell.
Mine is 12.
Okay, and I know Vasily's is not high. You and Jules go at the same time. Jules, I'll let you go first.
Okay. In that case, this is gonna be interesting. Uh, she's going to go ahead and use her eyes of hate. Laser
Okay.
beams. Okay, let me just make sure I remember this. Fired in cones. +2 large weapons hit bonus. Uh, rate of fire 2 times per turn, so I can do it twice. I believe this is coordination as well? Because I can't remember for eyes of hate because it didn't specify. Basically, just laser beams that come out of my second pair of eyes.
Okay.
That is so weird. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember what the role is for this because I don't use them that often.
Coordination
Okay.
or
Let me double check.
firearms.
I made that by 6.
Okay. You hit by 6. All right. What's the damage on those things? Well, roll and add 6.
That is 21, and the damage for that is 20 impact.
Okay. Okay, so 21 is 1.5, so you do 30 points of damage. She explodes in this blast of golden light and small motes of it.
Fuck you!
Oh.
This thing in here, the black pill,
Mm-hmm.
is an altar. Apparently, whatever's been being developed and shipped and received and all that bizarre nonsense has culminated in this.
What are we looking at exactly?
Well, apparently, if you
No,
take
what should we be looking at?
I will.
When
Well, you hold on a second. Well, what you're looking at right now is the label on it and some of the information,
okay,
which I showed you, and I can give you
yeah, okay,
a slightly better
that's fine.
view
Just
of.
describe,
But yeah,
or just describe it to us.
yeah.
That's
Well,
fine.
there's some other stuff in there too.
Oh, wait.
So apparently, the idea is that when you take this, not only do you become despairing, but it attempts to turn you into. There's some manuals and stuff in there, and some physician information. It attempts to turn you into what's called a suicide disciple.
Suicide? That does not sound familiar.
Someone who will inspire rashes of suicides, and apparently, Liminal One is, kind of a patient zero, where these people, if they were, if they were to take it, it would be
been working with System 1.
Goddamn
You all
hypnotherapist.
turn your group of friends into suicide disciples, people who will go out and convince others to kill themselves.
Yeah, and spreading the black pill.
Jules
they
just
would
kind of
be-
runs her hands over her face. Oh my fucking god, asshole!
Man, you're just Mark. You're just throwing all the caretakers at us.
Well, normal actually, your character, although you don't have a list of caretakers, you do with with level 3 occult, you would realize that the Army of No and the Black Pill are
Yeah,
two different things.
They're two different things. They are not
They're
the same people at all, which is extra weird about this. But
right.
I'm not there, so I can't tell them this.
No, and you wouldn't know it that concretely anyway. Even at level 3, you haven't read the book, but you would get the vibe from these things is different. So, but anyway, let's let's bounce over to where Sarah Sparrow is.
Yeah, Jules just kind of sits on the bed. She's like, motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop all the bleeding.
Yeah. Well, you guys are able to stop the bleeding.
Mower magic, Marco.
Yes, you can actually spend your magic points.
Oh, I already did.
Okay.
So
What
now
did you get?
I've got Sciomancy level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had 4 points, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Uh-huh.
I'm saving up. I'm saving up for some good for some real goodies, but
Okay.
Jesus, is it expensive? But once it gets there, oh boy, oh boy. But
Okay.
wait, I have 4 points, right?
I think so.
So I've actually got level 2 and then 1 point left over.
Okay.
Yeah, and then oh my god, next to get to binding level 2 is 12 points. Christ almighty. It's so expensive, but it's so worth it.
So something okay, so
Oh no, wait, I got 3 points. I got 3 points, okay. Never mind. So that's
okay.
why I was able to get Sciomancy 2 for just complete expenditure.
Okay. Whatever it was, you know, and you're not really sure. Whatever that was that happened in the immediate fallout of the convocation, you have a sense, you have a sort of subliminal feeling of the damage and the paranoia, all of the owl and serpent people have been put on kind of a hold and lockdown and told not to leave the campus.
Oh dear.
You guys are not quite in there. You know, you don't quite count. But
we don't count. Yeah.
Both Jalen and Jasmine have counseled you not to talk of this, to tell nobody you saw it. And she says there's law enforcement that might be involved, but you know, even
don't
worse
talk
than
about
that.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like I figure I'm basically under quarantine.
Yeah, well, they're haunted by it, but you're actually in the dormitory room when Taylor comes up there and she says, "Hey, you got a minute?"
Yeah, always.
Yeah, so she's you know, kind of gets you out of the dorm room, and she's walking with you down by the physics building, and you know it's a physics building because you know that's where Dr. Hoffman is doing his stuff, and you've gone in there to help out from time to time.
Yeah.
And Taylor's kind of been around with that too. She's helped with the CPD stuff, and she's sitting with you at the student cafe that's across the quad from the physics building. Hoffman had an episode. She says he's afraid he's caught CPD. I know he hasn't. You know he hasn't. I mean, maybe he has. Maybe he's getting mixed up in all this stuff. But he had something happen last night. I was helping out with his test. He's really freaking out. I think he's considering taking a sabbatical, leaving the school. He believes that his interactions with just watching the people through the glass, watching the CPD group through the glass where he's been observing them, he thinks somehow he got it. Maybe you want to talk to him? I wasn't sure what to say.
I mean, I guess so. I guess I could talk to him. I don't know what else I could really say to help, but I would give it a go.
He thinks he's gonna die.
Ah.
Or go crazy.
Well, both of those are definite possibilities, but
She says, yeah, but you know more about this than that it's not just a disease, that it's not just his brain coming apart.
yeah. I mean, I guess I could talk to him about it, sort of see if I can get him sort of adjusted. I mean, we got you sort of adjusted too, but I mean, that's been. She sort of just looks meaningly at Taylor.
Taylor blushes and looks down, knowing that it was real, knowing that it was meaningful, knowing that it wasn't just going crazy. All of that, it meant a lot. I mean, to me, it did. To those people out there who are just having things go sideways on them, it's got to be so much scarier.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to him. I'll see what. Maybe I can say something to help him out. Maybe we can get.
I
him
think
sort of
he's in there
straightened
now
out.
packing, and whatever it was that happened to him. I mean, I was in the big trap room with all the lasers and stuff with him. I was outside of it, but I heard him start screaming and trying to get things out of the laser box, out of the laser grid, and I guess he was running an unannounced test or something. I'm not really sure. And yeah, maybe you want to go talk to him. I know
maybe we both could talk to him. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe if it's not just coming from one person, it might be a little bit more.
She nods. She says, "Okay, I'll go with you."
It might be a little bit more believable, you know.
You guys head over there.
Yeah.
You guys cross the quad. There's a really chill wind blowing, and something feels wrong about everything as you come in through the building. There's this sense of being watched, and there's just a sense of wrongness in the air, like little hints of decay or corruption. And you find him. He's not young. I mean, he's maybe in his 40s. He's a fairly handsome
It's
guy.
young for a professor.
He's young. Well, but he's one of these super geniuses too. Yes, and he has a gym bag that's overstuffed with things, and he is actually pulling some of the books and computer disk and stuff. He's like looking at one in each hand, and you come in there, and he looks at you, Haunt, and he says, "Don't come any closer. Whatever it is, it happened to me. I had one of their episodes."
So Sarah's just like, look, I know what you're going through. It happened to me, and don't worry, I'm not at risk anymore.
You're infected?
I was infected, but...
Taylor says, it's not what you think. He looks at her, and he says, I was in the room with you. I sat in that room with you, and you have some kind of communicable...
Not anymore. Sarah just sort of says with like a shake of her head.
Okay. How did you beat it?
I don't know, and that's part of the possibly answer, but also part of the problem. I don't know how I'm not, because I'm of the people that I knew that were infected, I was the only one to be cured per se. I didn't really do anything differently than the rest of them either.
He kind of folds his arms. And he says, was it scary as hell when it happened to you?
It's scary, but at the same time, to someone like me, let's say it's fascinating. But
Sarah says other things were scarier.
Taylor says that. Yeah.
Not Sarah, yeah, Taylor says that.
Yeah.
And he looks at her.
The thing you need to understand, though, is you're not. The thing you need to understand, though, is you're not going crazy. Like, I know it's hard to believe, but you're not going crazy. And being afraid of it is probably a proper response. But it's not just some mental thing going on with you. You're not like you are still like keep if you can. I find that the best thing that helped me when I was descending, as they call it, was just rationally thinking, just thinking what's going on, and just making my way through it, and just realize you're not going crazy, and you can get through this.
He folds his arms and he sits on the edge of the desk looking over both of you. He says, now I'm wondering if you were sent by someone to watch me. I'm definitely becoming paranoid, even if I'm not becoming psychotic.
Sarah just sort of giggles a bit. She's like, trust me, if someone were going to be watching you, you wouldn't know it.
Taylor says, why don't you tell her what happened? She's really more of an expert in this than you might think.
I might know a bit about what's happening with you specifically.
He says, well, the tardigrade is asking for you. Sarah.
The device.
No, the little...
Uh-oh, babble.
Okay, all right. The tardigrade is actually the almost subatomic little indestructible, unkillable... by the way, we could still hear the screaming, so you may have muted yourself, but you didn't. Just saying. So the tardigrades are the little, not subatomic, but the tiny little nearly indestructible creatures that they were going to try to freeze and then put into superposition with a number of lasers. Superposition being this sort of quantum, not dead, not alive state. This Schrodinger's cat state. And this was always like way in the future. They were first going to try it with a flu virus, and they were, having trouble with it. But he says, so last night, I'm deciding to put one of our tardigrades, and by the way, these things are barely visible with the naked eye, but you can look at a picture of them. They look like, they're kind of cute for little subatomic or little almost microscopic animals.
Teddy bears.
Yes, they look kind of like bears. Yeah.
I mean,
And
their also name is Water Bear.
he says, yeah. So he says, so I put the thing in the laser trap. I started the cooling, and I heard bells, like big bells, not from the chapel over there.
Like church bells.
Yeah, well, we have them over in the Rockefeller Center, but no, this is like it was right here, like right around us, like inside the physics building, and I thought it was over the PA system, although I could feel everything vibrate. Yes, I guess you'd call it scent. It almost felt like an elevator dropping.
Sarah's
and then
just
what?
Like, yeah, that's about right.
What was in that laser trap wasn't a tiny little tardigrade anymore. It was kind of a badger. It had smallish horns, and its body twisted like a corkscrew. You could make a coat roll. It had slick white hair. It was kind of big. I mean, it wasn't microscopic.
Okay, that made it by 4.
What he's describing, you realize, before he says the name of it, is a tove. And in fact, although your occult skill is only orthogonally related to it, you do know what a Tove is. They are known to be slithy and gyre and gimble in the plot of land around a sundial. Are you personally, the player, familiar with the poem The Jabberwock?
The Jabberwocky.
Yes.
Yes. What he's describing is a Tove.
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with the Jabberwock poem. It's been a hot minute since I've read it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm familiar with I'm familiar with the Seussian level nonsense.
Mm-hmm. And he says, so I see this animal in there, and it's twisting its body in these spirals as it crawls forwards. And then it tells me in this British accent, it says, "Where's that sparrow girl?" And I'm trying not to throw up. It looks at me, this thing, and it says, "Where's that sparrow girl? I've got to tell her she's in a lot of grave danger, and I'd prefer there be a few less graves around here."
Oh. That's...
He says, "I'm talking to this thing that, well, it says the tardigrade is what I see of it.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing the whole thing."
Sarah just sort of takes a deep breath and she's like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a thing here, and it's not any offense to you, but it sounds like you weren't really the target of the descent to make, as I'll say, it like I don't think you've been quote unquote infected by the other people. I think something from, okay, so like I said, you're not going crazy. Think of it of it like this.
You think that his experiments are actually sort of, I don't want to say punching holes in reality, because that's not quite what they're doing. But when he's trying to put things into superposition, he's getting pretty close towards merging a shadow and a physical object.
Right. So Sarah's just like, I think your experiments are getting close to some very weird stuff having to do with infection, she says with air quotes. But I think you might have been quote unquote infected by that somewhat. You're sort of getting close to some interesting things. Continue doing it, for sure. I think you're getting some very interesting stuff, but I think something is trying to contact me, and you were just in a convenient place at convenient time.
He says, "Well, I think it's still down there."
So Sarah's just like, okay, this might be a terrible idea. She turns to Taylor and she's like, Taylor?
And she says, "Well, let's go talk to the tardigrade or the Tove or whatever it is."
Taylor, I'm gonna say it. I think it might have to be you, and I might have to talk through you, because you know I can't go down.
She says, "What about using your energy source? I know you've been getting some." She's talking about using a success point.
Yeah. Well,
you could do that.
I thought that it would just get me the information of where my shadow was, but my shadow's not with me.
You can use it to project a version of yourself down. So.
Oh, okay. So the success points let me project a version of myself down.
Yeah, it's kind of a semi-shadow, a shade.
Pseudo shadow.
Yeah, for a limited time.
Oh, okay. So. But also using that stuff with success points would let me like look at where my shadow is if I chose that way, right?
Yeah, right. You can do both. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going. So yeah, I'm going. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, let's go down and talk to. Let's talk to the Tove. She's like, she turns back to the professor guy and she's like, okay, look, you may want to step out for a bit. Just saying, if you don't, I don't want to put you through that again. What you went through.
He's eyeing you carefully, and he says, "What are you going to do?"
Hold on one sec.
Descend.
You won't see it, will you? I mean,
I'm good.
if I took one of the other professors or students in there, they wouldn't see it, would they?
She's like, she says, they might. I don't know how, So you know how you said that you might have gotten infected by those other people with CPD?
Taylor says they wouldn't see it. They wouldn't see it. Don't try bringing people in. They'll just think you're crazy.
Yeah, that too.
Now, if you bring one of the people from the encounter group in there, yeah, they might very well see it. You don't really want to do that.
Yeah, she's just like, look, I just don't want anyone else potentially coming down with, and I don't want to have you come down with again if you're like got that messed up by it. So I'm just looking out for you here, man.
He nods. He says, "Go ahead. Go."
Yeah. So shoo.
Well, you exit the office and go down the stairs to the lab.
Oh, it's in a different place. Okay.
Yeah, you go down the stairs. You go through the double doors into this big floor, and you can see the big laser grid, laser trap machine with all of its shining chrome, the computers and cables all over the floor, stacks of the and there's the tubes of solution and cultures of influenza virus and things like that.
Right.
And you feel a very faint chill, and it's not anything that you feel. Taylor definitely feels it. It's that there's something, your normal senses are detecting something subtly wrong in the room. It's not your shadow's not there detecting anything, but you're getting a sense of something wrong in the angles and the reflections. That just something's not quite right.
Hold on one second.
So, okay.
Sounds like the kiddo's having fun with whatever he's messing with.
Oh God. I can only imagine what he's getting into.
It's Caleb. It could be a number of things. And considering whose dad is, it could also be a number of things.
It's the Ethernet code again.
The answer is he's getting into pajamas.
Oh.
As in, I'm trying to get him into pajamas. So just keep going with your dialogue. I'm listening.
Okay.
I've got wireless earbuds now, which is fantastic. So
is your plan to use? Well, you're kind of gonna need to.
Yeah, I'm using it. I'm using a success point. I've got like 9, so I've got some to burn.
Okay. All right. So you come down there and you look around and you burn one. Sitting in the middle of the laser grid is a fat Tove. It does have smooth white fur, and its body does corkscrew around weirdly. It's got small horns coming out of its head. It's a bit like a badger with small horns and a body that corkscrews and rabbit-like back legs.
Okay, I'm just
its eyes narrow as it looks at you.
Okay, I'm walking up to it. I'm just like, "Sup? I heard you were looking for me."
Sup? That didn't
Yes.
sound like a sparrow thing.
I've been watching all of you bumbling around except for you. You're the only one who doesn't show up most of the time. And if, in fact, I wasn't if I was limited in my sight to what was just in front of me, like most of us, it looks meaningfully at and severely at Taylor, who kind of flinches. I wouldn't see you either. You'd be as invisible to me as I should be to you. However, I'm quite discerning. So discerning, in fact, that you not only caught my eye by not catching it if you take my meaning, but I can see other things forming around you. You, Ms. Sparrow, are being hunted by a number.
I'm being hunted by a number of things. What's it today?
No. You're being hunted by a number. A specific number, and one that you had better figure out rather quickly.
An impossible number?
Dubious, probably an integer. Before you make some decisions, decide not to decide.
Is the number high or low?
I don't know. I just know that you're being hunted by a number, and it's slowly casting its web around you and making it tighter and tighter. And if it closes on you before you know what number it is, you're going to likely die.
She's like, well, I do like living, so any information that you can give me, if you're so willing, because it sounds like you have a vested interest in me living as well. Otherwise, why would you be talking to me?
Well, you did catch my eye.
Well, I'm glad to be of an entertainment then.
Do you know what synchronicity is?
Synchronicity is, you know what? Let me. Would that be in terms of math or in terms of physics?
So it could be several different things.
There's a lot of different meanings to synchronicity, and it really depends on the study that you're going for. So Sarah's just gonna be like, look. Well, she's like, well, she's actually gonna probably say that. Like, she's like, well, there's a lot of different meanings to synchronicity. It depends on what study. Do you want music? Do you want mathematics? Do you want physics?
It's a police song.
This is a fair question. Have you ever had the sense that you're seeing the same number come up in different places in life a lot?
The human mind likes to recognize patterns. Sometimes when they're not there.
Well, in this case, it's not a pattern your mind is recognizing. It's a very lethal pattern constricting around you. I would suggest that you've probably got some very talented magus rather peaked at you.
So a mage is hunting me. A mage is hunting me through cat's paws of a number.
Sending a number after you is no small thing, Ms. Sparrow. No, it's not at all. I would suggest at this point that if you haven't been noticing numbers climbing up on you and sneaking around you, and the same things showing up on clocks and wherever, license plates and loudspeaker announcements and random pages and books you open them to, I would suggest you rather figure it out quite quickly, because that means it's being sneaky. And while you could see the number down here, you wouldn't really want to, because just looking at it has some pretty bad effects, and it can reach up to where you live and be very effective.
She's like, well, there's one easy way to find out, and that is
There is. You're going to have to figure it out. And that means you're going to have to figure it out faster than the number finds you.
Well, there's one. Well, like you said, page numbers are quite a useful tool for identifying.
Just trying to go and do it's not going to work. You're going to have to go out into the world and you can't just go and pick a bunch of random numbers. Oh, it might happen, but it might not. I've got a recommendation.
Sarah's like, what about the method of the method of chaos theory, that all random events lead to some sort of logic. So what if I just went to the library, grabbed 5 random books off the shelf, 10 random books off the shelves, dropped them all on their spines to open to random pages?
That might work. You could try it. However, there's a few problems. First off, people are very, very bad at picking random numbers or random books, unless you have some method of randomly choosing random books. Secondly, you're going to predispose yourself to it, meaning that you may see patterns, say 2 of them open to the page of 97. Is that your number?
Of course not.
You don't know.
That's why we opened 10 of them.
But I know where it's been.
You can track it like a bloodhound, a numerical bloodhound.
Not exactly, but I do get around. There's a particular cafe not terribly far from here. Overly hip. Rather overdone in its way. The kind of place where this may have contracted the number, or perhaps where his more bumbling shade went to wait for the number and the number followed him back. I'm not sure, but I know where it's been, and I know it's been there. And if we go there, and you're careful, you'll find out which number this is, and then, well, if you know it, if you know what your number is, then when your number comes up, you're rather prepared.
When one knows their hunter, it's much easier to turn the hunted into the hunter into the hunted.
That is in fact how it works. You can join the screen share.
Okay. I'm still in there.
Okay. Well, all right.
It's just not sharing anything.
I am not sharing anything right now. I will be soon.
So Sarah just looks over at Taylor to see how well Taylor's following all this. Just out of curiosity. Because this is a lot of, like, Sarah's sort of learned to speak the double speak of Wonderland, the topsy-turvy nonsense of walking around words and such. But I don't think I've got a sneaking suspicion that Taylor is still like, what?
Yeah, no, Taylor is pretty mystified by this. So, 20th Century Books and Coffee is a brick building on one of the streets, and you actually kind of know it. I mean, you've seen it before, and yes, it is apparently one of these overly hip.
Number's 20.
That's what I was thinking, but no, that's too obvious.
So the idea is that I drive and you tell me.
Yeah. Okay. Let me. There we go. 20th century. Besides, that's not 25th.
20th. Well, they might have misspelled it.
You spelled it 25th. I thought that was something significant. All right. So yeah, let's go in, sit down, maybe order some coffee. Oh boy, this is the exact sort of place that's going to induce fucking descent just by like the shit around you.
Room.
Tea room. Yeah, keep going in. Tea room. At a coffee shop. Huh. Can I look at the chessboard? Is there like is the chessboard set up? And yes, it is. It is set up with a few moves.
You and Taylor are here, and in fact, you think the Tove is with you. You carry the tardigrade with you. You will need to spend success points to talk to it.
Yeah, of course.
But she says, "Well, there's 64 squares on a chessboard."
Sarah's gonna look. Can I look at like where the chess pieces are set up, and can I make a roll for Sarah to just sort of like? I mean, she's probably played, like, let's face it, she's a fucking nerd. She's probably played chess. Probably knows at least a good, decent amount about chess.
Yeah. You can go ahead and make you can make an occult roll. You can make a reason roll.
Okay, I'll make an occult roll then, because that's my better thing. But yeah, she's definitely gonna like. I'll make an occult roll, but then like if she can ooh, that's made by 8.
So you don't think that there is a strong numerical connection with the chessboard?
I'm not looking for a strong numerical chess. I'm looking for the moves. The setup. Who's what is White's current like strategy going on? What is Black's current strategy?
Black is fanchettoing its bishops, and the White has opened with a particularly rare white opening. That's not usually well thought of. But essentially, you don't get much information off this.
Well, does Sarah know what the usual like counter response would be to the White's movement?
In that case, yes, you want to develop, so you move.
Yeah, she just wants to move the next black piece.
Okay, you do. I'm not going to do it on the screen.
Yeah, no, of course. That's just sort of like what I'm.
Yeah.
She like understands like these sorts of things are like sometimes like indicative of something.
Sure,
happening
absolutely.
Lower down, like seemingly random things like this can sometimes have meaning.
Absolutely.
And the best way to proceed is sometimes to play along.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
there are other people in here. There are some people reading, and there's some people in the tea room, and in the cafe. The cafe is actually over there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, that's poster on the wall. 19.
They have some book.
Ah, yes, George Orwell. Okay, the Wasp Factory. Hey, Slade, do you know anything about the Wasp Factory?
You probably don't. You can make a reason roll.
Probably.
A memory roll, actually. Yeah.
Ooh. Now that I have a decent. I think I have a decent memory, actually. If I remember correctly. Haha. Let's see. Memory is actually a my reason is 13, but my memory is only 12. Okay. Okay, so that is made it by 3.
You can Google the Wasp Factory by Ian Banks.
Wikipedia, don't fail me now. Published in 1984. Science fiction now. It said, wrote by a psychopathic teenager living on a remote Scottish island. Somewhat resembling science fiction. It's written from a first-person perspective, told by a 16-year-old Francis Caldheim, Frank, describing his childhood and all that remains of it. Frank observes many shamanistic rituals of his own invention, and it is soon revealed that Frank killed 3 children before he reached the age of 10 himself. What the fuck?
Well,
the plot is basically he's lives with his father on a small island in rural Scotland and has not seen his mother in many years. There's no official record of his birth, meaning his existence is largely unknown. Frank occupies his time with rituals, building dams, and maintaining an array of weapons, a small catapult, pipe bombs, and a crude flamethrower for killing small animals around the island. He takes long walks to patrol the island and occasionally gets drunk with his only friend, a dwarf named Jamie, at the local pub. Otherwise, Frank has almost no contact with the outside world. He's haunted by the memory of a dog attack during his youth, which resulted in the loss of his genitalia. He resents others for his impotence, particularly women. This is in part due to the mauling coinciding with the last time he saw his absentee mother, who would come back to the island to give birth to his younger brother, leaving immediately after.
That doesn't sound like a number.
No, but as with all things, there's usually some sort of significance. A good occultist knows not to ignore strange details. The wasp factory that the title refers to is a mechanism invented by Frank consisting of a huge clock face salvaged from the local dump encased in a glass box. Behind each of the 12 numerals on the clock face is a trap which leads to a different ritual death, for example, burning, crushing, or drowning in Frank's urine. For the wasp that Frank's puts into it via the hole at the center of the clock face. Frank believes that the death chosen by the wasp predicts something about the future. The factory is located in the house's loft, which Frank's father cannot access because of a leg injury. There are also sacrifice poles constructed by Frank. The corpses of animals such as mice that Frank has killed are placed onto the poles for the purpose of attracting birds, which will fly away and alert Frank of anybody approaching the island's borders. What? Okay.
You remember reading this thing a little while ago, being completely weirded out by it.
Yeah, that's about right. Between this and between this and 1984 being a surveillance thing, it sounds like Sarah's going to infer that there's definitely something in Wonderland, like watching and waiting for to just set people up for to walk into their own deaths. You know what? Okay, if I use Truth of Place, I would be able to see what's going on in the Wonderland version of here, as well as talk to the Tove, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, there's a 6. Wait, turn back around. What? On the ground. Is it 1986? Is that the name of the book, or is it 1984?
1984.
Okay, so that's not a 6. Okay, there's a weird 6 just lying out in the open there. It's a little suspicious, but nothing quite yet.
Those look like they might be movie posters.
We'll go take a look at them, I guess.
Sure.
Apollo 13, 6th Sense, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far there's 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 1s. Nothing quite, no, 3 1s, 3 1s. Nothing quite standing out as a pattern yet, but yeah. She's gonna sort of just, oh my god damn it. I see that fucking honeycomb. What's going on over there? What the oh, come on. Come the fuck on. You just decided to fill this thing with every fucking number possible, huh, Mark?
I did not.
You fucker.
Have fun, Steven.
Alright, well, so she's gonna go over to the cafe and order some coffee. Probably, like, something heavily loaded with sugar, because she doesn't actually like coffee. Is there no one here?
No, there's people here.
Okay.
I just didn't fill it with people.
Yeah, no, that's fair. God damn it, more numbers. Oh, motherfucker. 14. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, she's gonna order some, like, sit down with Taylor and be like, okay.
That's not 14.
Yeah, it is. Oh, no, 19, excuse me. That's the third 19 I've seen, I think. Good to know. So she's gonna order some coffee or some sort of sugary coffee drink and sit down with Taylor and be like, well, this is gonna be a bit harder than I thought it was gonna be.
You guys, she says, I've got a creepy feeling, and in fact, you do.
What's in the coffee, Steven?
You know what? Marco, I'm gonna do a thing.
What's that?
Gonna grab some. Actually, once she gets her sugary coffee drink, she's also gonna order a black coffee.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a trick that I learned from Deadly Premonition.
Oh Lord. I'm sorry.
So she's gonna get the cup of black coffee set down on the table. Go get the cream. I'm guessing they've got like a little creamer.
Oh, they do. Yeah. You guys go over here and get some.
She's gonna get the cream and then just pour it in. Just like pour it in straight, and then do like an occult reading of the pattern.
Oh my fucking Lord! I'm so sorry, Marco.
It's like tea leaves except with coffee and cream.
Okay, go ahead and.
This is literally a trick I learned from Deadly Premonition. The main character does this nonsense a lot.
Zach, look at the coffee.
Zach, did you see it? In the coffee. Alright, made it by 2.
You don't get any good sense off the coffee.
Off the coffee.
However, that is a sacred geometry picture.
Yeah.
It's a flower of life or something.
Yeah.
And that is a magic hexagon.
That's the third time I've seen 19 pop up. It's good to know.
What are the other two?
Oh, well, actually, no. Let's make it fifth time. So 1984, 19 on the Apollo poster, 19 on the magic hexagon, and if you really want to stretch it and do for 19 minutes on that poster over there, and if you really want to stretch it to 5 and 6, the clocks show 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the two numbers that they're pointing at? 12 and 7, 19.
19.
You know, I'm gonna do an experiment. I'm gonna do a quick experiment. She's just gonna walk. She's gonna walk over to. Oh, she's gonna walk over to the bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, can't do random my ass. How about this? And she just. So that bookshelf that sort of like got like going over the over like one of the entryways there. Shh, baby, calm down. So like see how it's like one of those ones on the left or right. It's like jutting over the entryway because it's not quite small enough to actually match it.
Okay.
She's just gonna walk and bump into it. Grab whatever books fall off and then drop them open to random pages.
Okay, make a roll. Just make a standard jack roll. Taylor says, "Hey, you should come over here and look at their back exit."
Okay, that's a 10.
1 second.
9. Hey, 19. Fucking. God.
We did.
1 second, Leo.
Wait, I think you went too high. 19. God, 19th nervous breakdown as tears go by. Yeah, I think we know the number, but just doing the random chaos theory method just to see.
Violet is not happy.
She's
All of the
not.
books open to page 19.
Yes, all of them fall open to page 19.
It's like, okay, she's like, okay, Taylor, I think we know which number's hunting me.
And you guys, you feel a chill wind as the door opens, and we're gonna call it here because it's 10 o'clock. And
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 o'clock, your child needs you, Steven's child needs him.
by the way, the 19 magic number hexagon is the only one that works like that. 19 interlocking circles for the flower of life. There were 19 books on the table there.
This feels like deja vu.
6 and 3 is 19.
I don't know why. This just feels like deja vu to me.
Anyway. And yes, the sun is the 19th tarot card. All right. We will call it here.
Yeah, call it here before Violet starts driving away.
Yeah,
the-
sounds like a good place
And
to
of
call it.
course, 20th century is 1900s.
Right.
God damn it.
Okay.
Alright, let's quickly wrap this up while Violet is kind of quiet.
Okay, take care, guys.
Later, Micah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next time for more weirdness as we descend further into nonsense.
Live on, play strong, roll out. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.